So, with your astrology for Monday, July 15th, 2024, we've got Mars officially starting to really cross Uranus now in Taurus, and with it being Cancer season, South Node in Libra. I think we got to be careful to not get too comfortable with creating disruption in our own reality imbalances just for the sake of it from our ego. If you do need to make a change, especially like in a relationship, a financial situation, a project, make sure that it just fits your evolved spiritual set of values, that you know what you measure in terms of like your success. That way, if you're using action, that you're actually moving things into like a better direction in your life and not accidentally creating stagnation because it was done from like a miscalibrated sort of place. You know, with Mars, Uranus, and Taurus, this is a passive, feminine sign, right? It's an earth sign. So it's really more about putting in like the effort, but in order to still like receive, it's like, you plant the seed and for the crop to grow and you sort of water it and take care of it. But with Mars there, it could want to push the tornado energy that is Uranus a little bit. And so I want to say that I think that, when you add to it the moon in Scorpio, that's eventually going to oppose this energy, it's like, not today, but tomorrow, it's don't go looking for a fight. Don't chase ghosts, don't chase, basically just conflict. It's a weird thing, but it's almost like these are the types of days where I think that we can have good breakthrough energies, especially like with our identity of like what really drives us. But I think it can get shrouded in the fog of things if we're not really sure who we are, where we're coming from. We're like in just these like wounded parts of ourselves, and we go just like kind of like searching for drama or like forcing an action. And so this can apply to really any area of life. It's just there's going to be some material motivation behind it, right? Person, place, thing, which includes, money, possessions. So I would just really watch out for whatever it is that you're considering pushing your limits on, like pushing the boundaries on, or making some like irrational decision. Honestly, this is part of this astrology today is Jerry Seinfeld sitting down with George and trying to talk George off the ledge from doing something like heinous and like going too far with things, because it's difficult. It's going to be difficult to see until Mars gets a little bit past Uranus, like what is this uncertainty that we're facing and exactly like where things are going. You could blow this up, to a national level here in America, but also like our personal lives as well. Even though like we kind of know where we're going, and we know our values, and we know what we're supposed to be doing, it's almost like the how, the exact steps, the consistency. It's really just kind of a shootout a little bit with what that next action step is. And so I think how I would really use this energy is really just, as long as it fits your values, as long as it's something that you can repeat consistently, as long as it feels like it is lifting you to a higher level of love, it's being of service, it's something similar to what you've already been working on for probably years, at least the past year, and knowing that skill set, and you just keep pumping the energy into it, and like good things will come. And it's not about getting frustrated if it doesn't show up right away, or if the outcome doesn't look the way that you wanted it to. It's just showing up. This is a lot of just like show up in life energy, and like good things will happen. Especially like at the end of Cancer season like this, as we're getting towards the end of it, it can be easy to just like, just want to find comfort. That South Node in Libra, it's like, let's just find comfort, let's just find peace, let's just find harmony. It's like stuff's difficult, and we want to like, I don't know, like disconnect or fog out of reality or something with Saturn and Neptune and Pisces, and then of course Pluto and Aquarius, but those are retrograde. So it's like think of those planets as like being like offline, like they're not the driving factors. We still have to pay attention to them because there's this karmic review period of like where we've got to like look within and be like, oh shit, yeah, what's my weird subconscious pattern where I keep slipping up or my thoughts keep going in this direction, and actually use that Jupiter, which is honestly still my favorite part of the astrology, even though it's a fall, because like that's where we can really change our circumstances and change the experience of life, is by not so much like predicating our thoughts on using our subconscious mind and our fears and our distractions to sort of predict how things are going to go, and just become curious, just become naturally curious. And that can seem overwhelming because in some weird way, like we're all meant to become very innocent right now. We're all meant to just kind of admit that we're all meant to kind of be a little bit naive and foolish. It's North Node with Chiron and Aries, and this Jupiter and Gemini, these are like early signs, and like Mars with Uranus and Taurus. And so it's like those first few signs, like that spring season, it's like very youthful energy. It's like we're figuring out who we are, we're figuring out what we're doing, how we're going to be good at doing it, we're figuring out what we need to change to like make things better just in general, right? So it's like it's not a blanket black and white statement across everything, but those themes definitely play out in a lot of ways on everything. And it's hard, but it's like we can't just go for a relationship. That's number one. We cannot just like run to a relationship situation, or even though it might be nice to go on vacation or connect with our families more with Cancer season, or clean the house or whatever, all these things are well and good, but at the end of it, it's like remembering, it's like the sun is the Don Delanuge of the zodiac, right? It's like the path of the sun's the most important, but it still follows that same pattern every year, right? Like, so we're highlighting that energy. We can draw our vitality and our motivation from wanting to find comfort, but where's that comfort going to come from? It's going to still be taking action based upon our values, putting the best stuff out there, and staying curious and humble, because I think the North Node is meant to expose Chiron a lot, with it being in Aries, of like, hey, like there's not a single person on this planet that has achieved some sense of mastery that doesn't have some wound, that's got some vulnerable component to their lives. And when we, I think, accept that we've all been injured in some way in terms of, I guess you could say the backlash effect of our whole human race being like taught like, oh, you're this thing, you're this thing, you're this thing. And then we have to like find a way to like unravel that. And even fighting back and saying like, no, I'm not that thing. I'm, like I'm a goddess, or like I'm this, or I'm that. That's the other slippery slope, because then that's not humble, and then that's not being a student of life and learning what these rough, sensitive experiences are teaching us, with the times when we just don't actually get the things that we want in the way that we want them. It's an infliction that we all have in some way, and anyone that's telling you otherwise, Moon in Scorpio, like with Mars crossing Uranus, they're trying to sell you on some stuff. They're trying to sell you that there's not some mess or unpredictability in their personal life too, and some skeletons in the closet. So be mindful too of like what you're taking in from outside resources. And it's not to cast stones at people. It's definitely not to judge people. We definitely don't want to be doing that. But I think it's just a humbling piece of acceptance that we're all here to just like create our best work right now, whatever that is in your life, whatever, your job or your creativity is, or the people you connect with and serve, and to just stay positive on those fronts and keep it fucking simple today, and don't go through the craze maze of trying to like completely resurrect or change something crazy in your life, because it won't go well. You just got to kind of still flow with things and see where's the universe like taking you, where's your ambitions based upon your values meant to take you, because you already defined that a while ago, and to like not get lost in doubt, worry, mental overwhelm. This brings up mental health stuff. That'll continue to be a theme. And just, take a breath and just like show up. And if you get bucked off the horse, you slip, you fumble the ball, all those, analogies when it's like you want to move forward and it doesn't work, you just get back on. You get back on the bike, you get back on the horse, you practice copious amounts of compassion and for others too. And, as I mentioned in last week's horoscopes, it's like choosing your frequency, choosing, calling in a frequency of enlightenment. Be like, I don't know what that looks like because it's Mars on Uranus, but it's like, just we can still use that throat chakra, that Taurus energy, to express, the openness to the higher spiritual realms, to take us on a path that is more fifth dimensional. That it's not about knowing the perfect way, that it's doing our work that we know how to do, but it's also not doing it from a place of control and actually infusing really positive frequency in it, and pausing sometimes to make sure that we are showing up in that way. And if we're not, or we slip, then we just go, oh, okay, let me stay curious. What's the little tweak I can do in my mindset or my, behavior, and not from a place of self-judgment, criticism, but just like, okay, I see it, and then stay happy and excited, make a mental note or make a note. And we just stay consistent, like with our own positive changes in life of the things, again, that we really want because we value them. And it just brings a sense of, basically bliss, like not only in the manifestation attainment of the things, but just in the like, wow, this is so great that I get to have this body and this skill set, and I get to like do these cool things for people. So I think it's stepping into more of that. But I've actually been meaning to draw a card for my Astro deck for some of these horoscopes, and I've been forgetting, but my deck was nearby, so here we go. Let's see if I can put my money where my mouth is and create some consistency with that. So the clarifying card for today is, I got the Jupiter card, abundance. So like I said, Jupiter, that's my favorite placement in the astrology right now. So it's like, you really can't go wrong if you get in the Gemini mental mindset of abundance is everywhere. There's an abundance to Mars crossing Uranus too. It's just, we don't know exactly how those manifestations are going to show up or when those breakthroughs are going to happen. But it's like, if we maintain a mindset, a sense of abundance, we're going to go in good places. It's obviously more philosophical. It's abstract based first before it's like an actual material thing in terms of, what abundance feels like, but it's very feel good, positive energy. And just the final card, I did draw the Libra card. So this is the scales, but I drew it in reverse. And so that's what I was talking about. It's like, be really careful today about those imbalances. I would say especially social imbalances with people, because Jupiter is a very social card, and so is Libra. So it's like, I would even call this like not getting overwhelmed with those situations with others, and you just do your best stuff, right? Like, don't worry about the politics of things and with the Trump thing and all that. It's like, the hoopla is not going to die down, but it's like, it doesn't mean we have to like give it our big focus, and get all unhinged and get out of balance with the scales that are Libra, because we're not paying attention to the energy leaks that creates with this moon in Scorpio, because of like where our attention goes and the energy flows. And so we can become way more consistent and find a state of flow in things, if we just sometimes balance ourselves out mentally, see the abundance. If you can, it's like disconnect from the phone for a little bit, find your flow of just your work, your creativity, and just do your fucking thing, chicken wing. And the people that, will benefit from your stuff, your service, your gifts, your creations, your work that you put in, just all the different things, whatever it is in life, like eventually it gets appreciated, it gets recognized, and so Mars and Uranus is a reminder too to just stay, cool, like it's calm, it's stable, right? It doesn't like go into its own frenzy of, wanting to just force some fucking outcome to things. And this is where we can just be way showers on days like today, where we can just, show what it's like to have basically a personal life that's not connected to the consensus reality right now, or the karma of this nation, the karma of the collective, and, speak to it from a sense of purpose of gleaning more curiosity. It's like what I would really love to see more people of, and I think we can all call this into our lives, is more people, instead of like fixating on the darkness of the things that they don't like in the world or want to judge, but use that Jupiter energy to become more curious about the things that you might find foreign or that you don't know about, whether it's like spiritual pursuits, because Moon in Scorpio brings up the occult, or just anything that maybe you've been wanting to commit to more consistently, and it's just like your own thing, and it's not connected to this like weird social stuff, political stuff like out in the world. So stay blessed out there. Stay tuned for whenever I do release that $33 ebook that teaches you how to interpret your natal chart. In the meantime, if you want to get a natal chart reading, you can click on the link down below. And if you want a deep dive astrology reading, you want to see how this cycle is impacting you on a personal level, you can also click that separate link down below. I'll see you in the next horoscope.